What else?
Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son.
Don't do it. Go ahead.
Nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy son.
Now, why not? Go ahead.
For they will turn away thy son from following me.
That's the reason why. You know God. Why would you marry somebody that don't believe in God? You gonna and we do this all the time. You got some, you know, because sometimes we get desperate and want to get married so bad. So you might have a sister that's dealing with the word, believe in God, and she'd grab any man that come along, don't believe in God. Then you just asking for some headaches. He said, don't marry them, for they will turn away thy son from following me. Why? Because they not following me. They might believe in a false God. They will turn away your son from following me, that what?
That they may serve other gods.
That they may serve other gods, false gods, because there's only one true and living God. That they may serve other gods. Go ahead.
So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
See, now the Lord going to be mad at you because now you turn from following him, all because you didn't marry outside of the realm. So that's even important. So when you think of getting married, if you're going to get married, if you believe in God, it's only common sense for you to marry somebody that believes like you. But everybody don't have that option, I understand, because sometimes we marry and then we find out about God. And your spouse don't know about God. See, so that's why we have to use our judgment in those cases, because the horse is already out the barn. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. Go to the New Testament now. See, Paul going to address this. This is why he addressed it like he addressed it, though. Because technically, it shouldn't have been. This is why I tell people that come. I say they come all the time. They say, well, you know, I was divorced long time ago, and then I got married, and, you know, me and my wife, we in the Word now, but technically, I shouldn't have been with her. Yeah, technically, but now, that's a wrap now. You stay with her, because they be wanting to think they should leave now. Maybe I shouldn't even be. No. That shouldn't have happened, but now it's a done deal. Now you know the Lord. In other words, you make it right from here on out. That's what Paul going to tell you about this situation in 1 Corinthians 7. 1 Corinthians 7, pick it up at verse 12. Go ahead.
But to the rest speak I, not the Lord.
Why do he say speak? What to the rest speak I and not the Lord? Why he talking and not the Lord? Because the Lord didn't necessarily give you nothing concrete on what he about to say, because if all things being equal, you wouldn't even been in this situation. But the horse is out the barn. We just read what the Lord said, don't marry certain people that don't know him, right?
Right.
So you wouldn't be married to somebody that don't know the Lord. That'd be the first mistake. See, if you already know the Lord and do it, you just ask for a headache. So when you start getting your headache, hey, you knew you had that coming. You knew you had a whooping coming, because the Lord then told you, don't do it. Don't do it. And you see where Satan is going to be trying to pull you away. You know the Lord, and you're going to go get somebody who don't know the Lord. That's what Satan is after. He after you to pull you away from the Lord. And you didn't put yourself willingly in that predicament. So now you really got your hands full. You got to hold on tight. Because he told you what the goal is going to be. Take you away from following God. So the Lord going to be angry with you and destroy you. But in this situation, it's already done before. You knew the Lord. So now you come up on this situation. That's why he said, but to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If what?
If any brother hath a wife that believeth not.
See, you got a wife and she don't believe. But maybe neither of y'all believed at first. Technically, it shouldn't be, because you shouldn't be married. Believers and unbelievers shouldn't be unequally yoked together. But in this case, it's already a done deal. If any brother have a wife that believeth not, but what?
And she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away.
See, this is how important marriage is. Now you find yourself in a situation where you got a wife that don't believe. Same thing for a woman that got a husband that don't believe. He gonna mention that. You find yourself in that situation. Marriage is so important, even though that's really shouldn't have been that way, you need to see it through. You need to see it through now, because that's how important marriage is. And pray to God that he bring your husband or your wife around. That's why he said, if you got a wife that believeth not, you believe, but and she be pleased to do it. You know, now I've seen cases where somebody get in the word and they spouse just hate them after that. No, I don't want to be with you no more. I can't be with you no more. Then they're not pleased to dwell with you. Let them go. They going about their business. Then that's not your fault, because you got a right to believe and serve God. So he said, if a brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell, you know, she still want to be his wife. She still want to do wifely duties. Then he said, let him not put her away. Because I seen brothers come and say, look, my wife, she don't want to listen to the word. She don't want to listen to the word. You know, so I want to divorce her. No. Who knows? She might start listening later. If she be pleased to dwell with you, he said, don't put her away, right? On the other hand, 13.
And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not.
See, really, again, we have to address stuff sometime that really is out of the norm, because the horse is already out the barn. And that's why he said, I speak and not the Lord. You got to use godly judgment in these cases. And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, go ahead.
And if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him.
See, but he still is pleased to be with her, even though he don't believe the word. He don't want to go to church, but he still gonna try to be a good husband. Then it said, let her not leave him. Why?
For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife. And the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy.
So in other words, he said the Lord will have mercy for the one that believe. He'll have mercy for the one that believe, because you already locked in. You married already. In some cases got kids. You don't just throw that away.
Right.
That's how important marriage is. Because other than that, now you opening the door, even though they don't believe, you opening the door to what? Whoremongering and adultery. You open the door for just all kind of sin. And you don't want to do that. Go ahead, 15.
But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart.
Now, if they want to leave, and that don't mean, because I seen brothers sometimes, they going to act crazy. They say, well, I make her leave. I know how to make her leave. Nah, then you out of order still. He ain't saying you start acting crazy so they will leave. But if they leave on their own, which I've seen that. I seen a brother came in the word years ago, and his wife, now he going to church on Saturday. He started keeping the dietary law. His wife was upset. And she said straight up, I want to owe you back. He said, look, he ain't coming back. Even has some husbands doing wrong, don't believe, and then doing all kind of stuff. Beating on their wife and everything. Drinking all the time. Then they start believing, doing right, but want to take control of the relationship. The wife don't like that. She want the old one back that used to beat up on her and be drunk because she was in control. I seen that. She be mad because he trying to take control of things. But the bottom line is, once you start believing, if your spouse want to leave then because of that, then he said, let him go. Verse 15, but if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. Go ahead.
A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God hath called us to peace.
See, God called us to peace, so you always try to make it work according to God's law. Because you don't know whether your spouse will eventually start believing. So you've been created some whoremongering and adultery and fornication unnecessarily by forcing a divorce when it wasn't necessary. 16.
For what knowest thou O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband.
See, you don't know if your husband going to come around later on. He might not be believing that. That's why I had to tell women all the time, too, because they tell me, well, my husband not doing this. He's not doing this. Well, you can't make him do nothing. So you got to wait on the Lord to handle that. What knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband, or, on the other hand,
or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife?
See, you don't know, so you stick it out. That's how important marriage is, because else you getting into another realm. Go to verse 1. Back up to verse 1 now. We in 1 Corinthians 7, verse 1, because he had already started talking. Go ahead.
Now concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
See, if you can handle, let's go back to what Jesus said. We read when the disciples asked him, it's good that a man don't get married. Jesus said, if you can handle it, but everybody can't handle that. Everybody can't handle being by themselves. But if you can, that's good. Because now you'll be one that can really focus on God. Nevertheless, what?
To avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
See, because he don't want, because that's going to be, other than that, you're going to have a bunch of fornication, brothers and sisters, a bunch of whoremongering and adultery. So he said to avoid that, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own. Go ahead and do the right thing. That's why he said marriage is honorable in all. And the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge. Verse 3.
Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence.
Okay, so the husband have to give his wife the due benevolence. He have to understand that he has responsibility to his wife. And likewise what?
Also the wife unto the husband.
Go ahead.
The wife hath no power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife.
See now, because you have times where people, they will use sex as a weapon. You know, you done made somebody mad, you don't like what's going on, now you're going to try to use sex as a weapon. Look, that ain't how a marriage works. So that's what he's talking about. You can't use sex as a weapon. If you keep having too many headaches, something is wrong. Go ahead, verse 5.
Defraud ye not one the other.
Because now you might think you doing something. You might think you doing something to your husband, or in some cases, I've heard it, believe it or not, the husband defraud the wife. I've heard that. And even had to talk to couples about that. And the husband say, well, I just don't feel it no more. I don't feel that no more. See, but it don't matter what you feel. You got responsibility. So, and he's telling, so what you doing is you are sinning against God. You're going to get in trouble with God because you're going to create some more problems. He said, defraud ye not the other, except what?
Except it be with consent for a time.
Except it be with consent. So that's under agreement with consent for a time. And that's so you can put your focus on the Lord. Go ahead.
That ye may give yourself to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your inconsistency.
See, he said, come together again, that Satan tempt you not, because that's how somebody will end up getting themselves in trouble, committing adultery or going out doing something they're not supposed to do, if somebody is defrauding the other one. Then he said, come together again, lest Satan tempt you for your incontinency. Verse 6.
But I speak this by permission and not of commandment. For I would that all men were even as myself.
See, he said by permission, because God ain't said that all men. He's talking about being by themselves. And all men couldn't do that. But if all men were like that, hey, it'd be a lot less confusion going on, but then the population would dwindle too. But go ahead.
But every man hath his proper gift of God, one after this manner, and another after that.
Go ahead.
I say therefore to unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I.
See, so while you unmarried, or if your spouse died, or you a widow, that's your opportunity to be by yourself. Don't get married and then complain all the time. Because you had the opportunity to be by yourself. Like I said, some sisters come to me talking about their husband. When they get through, I say, yep, that's your husband. They act like I married him. That's your husband. Go home. Talk to you later. Talk to the hand. Because you married him. And like I said, some of them, hey, they jumped in it so fast. I said, well, you probably should have thought about it a little longer. But once you done crossed the line, then, as the old saying goes, it's a wrap. So this is the opportunity. He said, I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. He's talking about being by yourself. And you ain't got to worry about nobody else then. You ain't got to worry about nobody but you. And you can put all your attention on God. You can pray all you want to. You can do what you want to do. Go ahead.
But if they cannot contain.
But see, this come into play. If they cannot contain, do what?
Let them marry. For it is better to marry than to burn.
See? That's what you need to do. Go ahead.
And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband.
See, once you marry, then he said, let not the wife depart from her husband once you marry. Go ahead.
But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried.
See, that's what I tell some people sometimes. I say, well, if you want to just be by yourself, then be by. No, well, I don't think I'm going to be by myself. Well, you need to stay married then. See, there's no leaving this one and going to another one and another one and another. See, that's what the world is doing. That's why you got nothing but whores and whoremongers in the world. But if you're going to be serving the Lord, you're not going to operate like that. So he said, if she depart, let her remain unmarried or what?
Or be reconciled to her husband. And let not the husband put away his wife.
Okay, good. Go to Exodus 22. All the way back in the old day, because the Lord always had remedies to make sure he can stop, like a stopgap from stopping people being whores and whoremongers and adulterers. He had remedies for that. See, the best way to get married is to take your time and don't rush into it. Get to know the person before you sleep with them, and then make an agreement to be married and go through that way. Like in the Bible, it said Jacob, I don't know how much he got to know Rachel, but he waited 7 years before he was supposed to marry, and then that didn't work because the father pulled some shenanigans, so it ended up being 14 years. But we don't want to wait 7 minutes a lot of time. We've been to met somebody and slept with them, then what's your name? What? But see, God had something for that. He knew stuff like that would happen. It's like, but what that is, that's like jumping in the water and you don't even know how to swim. You jump in the water and start trying to figure it out. Yeah, I guess you ain't got no choice then, do you? Once you done jumped in the water. Exodus 22 and 16. 22 and 16. The Lord had something for that because at all costs, the Lord, he don't want no whoremongering and adultery. So what did he say here? 22 and 16. Go ahead.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Okay, now they wasn't married, right? They weren't married. They hadn't made the covenant or the agreement to be married. They were not married. It didn't even say whether he knew the woman's name or not. It didn't say none of that. It just said if a man entice a maid, the only criteria it gave is that, of course, she not betrothed, which means married. She wasn't married to nobody else because that would have just been regular old adultery if she was betrothed.
That's right.
Then, ain't no, that's the death penalty for that. That's a whole nother scripture. So that was the only criteria for man entice a maid. He entice a maid that is not betrothed and he lie with her. That means he sleep with her, he have sex with her. See, this is what when you young, the young people that learn this stuff now, you got a chance to do it the right way. You need to know up front that, look, you can't just sleep with somebody and get off the hook and think you just gonna go on about your business. That's the problem with the world. That's why it ain't nothing but whores and whoremongers. So yeah, the rappers, they singing about whores, and hey, they need to throw in a little bit about some whoremongers, because it don't be no whores unless it's whoremongers according to the Bible. So if people abided by this and knew this, he said, if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and he lie with her, that means he sleep with her or they have sex, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Now you need to get married. The Lord gonna give you a chance. See, people think that they just straight up committed fornication. Not yet. The Lord will give you a chance to make it right. You can make it right from then on. Just like it's nothing wrong in the old days. People end up sleeping together, and maybe they wasn't gonna stay together until the woman get pregnant. And they said, well, we need to get married. Yep, you're right. Even if you wasn't pregnant, you should have got married according to this, right?
Right.
That's what he said. But especially if you got pregnant, that's just a telltale sign, right? But what happened in this world? This happened all over the landscape. Men and women get together under these circumstances. The man entice her, and they sleep together, and then they go on about their business. Pregnant or not, right? And everybody be looking at the woman crazy. She come in pregnant like she did it by herself. Where the man somewhere didn't do what he was supposed to do, but the Lord know it. The Lord know it, and the Lord gonna deal with it. Because in this case, read it again, it's the man's responsibility to do what's supposed to be done right. Go ahead.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed.
Now she not married, he entice her. He didn't say, look, we're gonna get together and get married. Let's get married on so and so. He didn't say none of that. He enticed her. He jumped the gun like we often do, right? And he entice her and do what?
And lie with her.
And sleep with her. Go ahead.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Now he need to get married. See, we had a little saying, which really, if you was going to operate according to God's standards, you should operate like that. Have some preachers standing outside the hotel waiting on people to come out. Oh, y'all finished? Okay. I now pronounce you man and wife. I bet you if you force stuff like that, I bet you a whole lot of people, they really be ducking and dodging. Look, them preachers over there at that hotel. Let's go. But according to this will stop all the whoremongering and adultery. It will stop it. Because now this woman who he enticed and laid with her, she ain't gonna go and be laying with nobody else. And he ain't gonna get rid of her and just keep polluting women all over the place like it's been going on. It ain't gonna happen that way. Go ahead, 17.
If her father utterly refused.
Now the father had the final say, because until the woman got married, she was under her father's roof. If her father utterly refused, he still even had to pay a fine. See, if you start charging some brothers, say, well, look, you got to pay a fine for that, I bet you that'll cut it down. See, you ain't got no fine for that. Go ahead.
If her father utterly refused to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
See, he still had to come up with some money. So it wasn't no getting away scot-free at all, was it? Go to Deuteronomy 22. Deuteronomy 22, he said the same thing here. See, but you might say, well, that seems archaic. Look, that is the way God look at it. God had, the old saying is true that we got, that's the way God had it. You cannot taste the milk without doing what? Buying the cow. But everybody want to go they separate ways now. Even a woman don't mind. Women used to it. They don't mind that the man lay with them and go on about his business. But it shouldn't be. They mind later on when they find somebody they really want to be with, then They got to make up all kind of lies. Well, how many? Maybe 1, 2. That was it. Then everybody is ashamed, but it shouldn't have been that way in the first place.
That's right.
Deuteronomy 22 and 28. Go ahead.
If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed.
See, she not betrothed, because if she was betrothed, then he was in trouble. He committed adultery, and both of them the Lord hate both of them. Both of them supposed to die. But he found a virgin which is not betrothed, and do what?
And lay hold on her.
And he lay hold on her. Go ahead.
And lie with her.
And lie with her. Go ahead.
And they be found.
And they be found.
Then
like I said, the preacher outside the hotel. Go ahead.
Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver. And she shall be his wife.
See, he wasn't planning on marrying her. Evidently, he hadn't talked to the father up front and got it cleared. Maybe he thought he was just going to have some fun. That's why it even say, if they be found. See, but even if you're not found, the Lord found you. The Lord saw it. Why you think, women end up pregnant and you don't see no man in sight, but you see a whole lot of men getting gunned down in the street, shot down or locked up. That's some of them same men that went around impregnating women all over the place. They in the joint. They dead. Because the Lord don't like that, brothers and sisters. He don't like that. See, that's why, it ain't no family structure in our community, because men not being men, not doing their responsibility. So he said, look, verse 29, read it again.
Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver.
See, the Lord, you had to pay the price, brothers and sisters. If you're going to think you're going to have some sex, you're just going to have some fun, no, you had to pay the piper. So he had to give to the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and what else?
And she shall be his wife.
And they said, here, take your wife with you. Go ahead. Take your wife. You're like, I wasn't intending, Take your wife. And she shall be his wife. Why?
Because he hath humbled her.
Oh, because he hath humbled her. You know what humbled mean? They had sex. He laid with her. He had sex with her. He hath humbled her. See, that's the part you like to do. Men like to do that part. They like to humble a woman. And they go around and talk about it. Oh, yeah, I did so-and-so, so-and-so. Yeah. It's a price that come with that, though, didn't it? Because he hath humbled her, what couldn't he do now?
He may not put her away all his days.
He couldn't get rid of her. He couldn't get rid. See, but that's not enforced now, or churches don't even talk about that now. So you got none but whores and whoremongers running around. That's why the world is messed up. He may not put her away all of his days. We go ahead and read verse 30 since we're here.
A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's
See, the Lord got laws for everything. A man, he couldn't take his father's wife, which had happened in the Bible, and people paid the consequence for that. He couldn't take his father, and vice versa. A man couldn't take his son's wife. The Lord got a scripture on that.
That's right.
Because that is an abomination. But now, go to back up to verse 13, because he has said a little bit already. Verse 13, go ahead.
If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her and give occasional speech against her and bring up an evil name upon her and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not of maid.
See, technically, the way marriage worked, it shouldn't have been all that playing the field before you got married. It shouldn't have been that. That shouldn't have been. So, if it was going to be done right, when this man married her, then he should have been her first. So he said he gave occasions, if a man take a wife and go into her, that means lay with her, and then hate her. Now he don't want her no more. You got examples of that in the Bible. He don't want to be with her no more, which happens a lot. You have a man can't wait to get next to a woman. Can't wait till it just die. Then as soon as he slept with her, he don't want to see her no more. Disappeared, gone. But in these days, they knew better. They knew they couldn't get off the hook that easy. So the only way he could get around it, brothers and sisters, he would have to make up a lie on her if he didn't want to be with her. He knew he just couldn't get away. We done read all that again. If you done slept with her, it's cheaper to keep her. You got to keep her.
That's right.
But now, he knew he was supposed to keep her, but he didn't want to keep her. He wanted to do his own thing. So what he would do, he would give occasional speech against her and lie and say, in other words, yeah, I laid with the sister, but see, she wasn't like she told me. She had been with somebody before. I could tell. She'd been with somebody, so she lied. Which that's wrong if she did that. He gonna tell you, verse 15.
Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate.
Boy, they maintained some proof on this, because this was serious business. So they maintained the proof that she was a virgin. Go ahead.
And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he hath given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity.
In other words, look, it's proof he lied. He's saying she lied and she wasn't a virgin, but we got proof that he is lying. Go ahead.
And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city.
See, this ain't nothing uncommon that men will lie on a woman so they don't have to have responsibility that they supposed to have. But see, they knew the law here, so they had to go to extreme. So he was going to get her killed. She would have got killed if it was no proof that she wasn't a virgin, that she was a virgin. Go ahead.
And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him.
Now he trying to get the woman in trouble and really get away from her. And since he knew he couldn't get away from her, he was going to get her in trouble and they was going to kill her. But when they found out he was lying, they will whoop him upside his head. It said, the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him. They'll give him some licks upside his head. Go ahead.
And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver.
And they will fine him. Go ahead.
And give them unto the father of the damsel.
Go ahead.
Because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel.
Go ahead.
And she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days.
See, and he still didn't get what he wanted. He said, take your wife. You see how important, once you done got married, the Lord wasn't letting nobody off the hook. Even if the woman would have got off the hook, she probably would have been mad. This dude tried to lie on me. He tried to get me killed. I ain't going back with him. No, that's your husband. Go ahead. Y'all going about your business. The Lord wasn't letting nobody off the hook, was he? That's how serious it is to stay married and not create a whole bunch of whoremongering and adultery. That's why he said marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers, God gonna deal with them. He gonna judge them. So he had to stay with this woman, and he may not put her away all his days. But on the other hand, if the woman was out of pocket, verse 20.
But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for this damsel,
in other words, she been sleeping around and didn't admit it. See, nowadays, all this is out the window for men and women. It's all out the window. So you can only do the best you can with where you at when you find out about the Lord and start serving the Lord. Go ahead.
Then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her.
See, they would stone her. That's why it's important. Even if you're a woman, you done messed up. Hey, ain't no need of lying about, especially, a lot of times a woman can't lie about it. She got 3 kids. She can't even lie about it. No, I'm a virgin. No, well, she ain't gonna even try to go there. But she might limit it. Well, just one. Look, you got 2 baby daddies. How you mean just one? But the bottom line is, hey, you might as well just come clean. You might as well come clean because, hey, you done it. So therefore, you're not getting in this situation where you are still deceiving somebody. Because that's what happened in this case. If she had lied and had been playing the harlot, then it said, verse 21, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she died. Well, ain't nobody going to get stoned right now because nobody is clean enough to do that. But this just shows you how the Lord look at it, brothers and sisters. The Lord don't like it. The Lord said for them to do that at this time.
That's right.
So none of us, for what we doing now, we might not get stoned now, but the Lord is going to have judgment day. Go ahead.
Because she have wrought folly in Israel.
To do what?
To play the whore in her father's house.
See, she evidently was playing the whore in her father's house. And then she going to play it off like she hadn't and go be a clean virgin wife to this man. See, that wasn't good. Go ahead.
So shalt thou put evil away from among you.
See, the Lord said that's evil. Go ahead.
If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die.
See, and even though nobody going to do this now, unless the husband catch you, then they both probably going to die. But legally, according to God's law, nobody is capable. That's what Jesus said. Look, they said they brought a woman caught in the act of adultery in the New Testament. We caught her in the act of adultery. The law says she should be stoned. Well, they didn't even bring the man at all. Maybe he had got away or whatever. I don't know how. But, because both of them supposed to be stoned. But Jesus said, okay, go. Jesus didn't even say don't stone the woman. Because he knew the law. But he knew they wasn't capable of carrying it out. So he said, go ahead. Stone her. But I tell you what, let him that is without sin cast the first stone. The one of y'all that's without sin, you need to be the first one to start it off. They all left. So that just lets you know. It's not that it's okay, though. Don't think that we just committed adultery. We read who gonna judge that. Whoremongers and adulterers, who gonna judge? God will judge. See, man not capable of judging, but God still don't like it. This show you he don't like it right here. If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they shall both of them die. Why? Go ahead.
Both the men that lay with the woman and the woman. So shalt thou put away evil from Israel.
See, both of them was guilty and both of them died. Only way both of them wasn't guilty if the man forced himself on the woman and the woman wasn't going for it. Then it was just the man. And that could happen. So even the Lord cover everything. 23.
If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you.
See, that means she went along with it, or else it would have been what we called rape. Then she wouldn't have been in trouble for that. Go ahead.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man raiseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and he betrothed, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her.
See, it just show you the Lord cover everything in the Bible. He cover dot every I and cross every T. But back up to the 21st chapter, right before this, the 21st chapter. Because he covered everything. Somebody called. They didn't do it on question and answer, but they had asked me on the phone, and I don't think I never brought it up on question and answer about I think it was this scripture right here. Because in many cases, men were allowed to have more than one wife. And because we're not pushing that around here because we know what time it is, it's not like that was a problem with the Lord, though. We just know what the laws of the land are, and it's not time for that. But just because we're not pushing it, I don't want people to get the wrong impression. God didn't have a problem with that in the Bible. This is in the Bible right here where he even gave certain instructions. And I know women hate to hear stuff like this, but this is in your Bible. And this show you that it had to be some reason why God allowed that. But he had rules and regulations for all this, because somebody asked me this recently and said, well, I don't really agree with it. Well, it ain't what you agree with or not. It's what the Bible say. And even though man laws are crooked anyway, just like if you go by man laws, then 2 men could get married.
That's right.
And 2 women could get married starting now. They starting to change the laws to fit that, which we know according to the Bible, marriage between a man and a woman.
That's right.
But when it came to more than one wife, that's something that the Lord allowed, and they're going to act like something is awfully wrong with that. Look at this right here, 21 and 15. Even though now, again, I ain't saying, brothers need to go out and be trying to get more than one wife, because, hey, most brothers can't even take care of the wife they got, let alone having another one. And that's what he had instructions for also in the Bible. He said if you had another wife, you couldn't diminish your responsibility toward the first wife. That was your responsibility. Not that like some of these Israelites that's pushing, we got to have more than one wife, act like you got to have more than one wife. Thou shalt have more than one wife. That's not what it was. Even the Mormons act like that. They call that the principle that, that's my religion, like I got to have more. No, it never was thou shalt have more than one wife. Certain people did, and that was it. But it wasn't like that. So some of these brothers that's saying, it's more than one wife, look, they ain't taking care of nobody. They already living with one sister, and then they're going to go out and try to get another sister? Look, you live with her. You ain't even got the first wife straight. So that's why, hey, that's totally out of order. But what did the Lord say in the Bible concerning this instance? 21 and 15, go ahead.
If a man have 2 wives.
Okay, so that means that went on. So I can't act like, well, God don't like that. I can't read nowhere in the Bible that God didn't like it, even though I know the time and I know what the laws of the lands are. But I'm showing you what God's perspective is. If a man had 2 wives, go ahead.
One beloved and another hated.
Okay, so now he favored one over the other. I'm sure he didn't necessarily hate one, but he favored one over the other. The Lord had a rule for that where he could not mistreat nobody or even the children involved. He had 2 wives, one beloved and another hated. Go ahead.
And they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated.
Go ahead.
And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated.
See, the one that he don't prefer, he said the firstborn son be hers of the hated, then what was the law concerning that?
Then it shall be, when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn.
See, he couldn't be unprincipled and do things the way he wanted to do. He still had to follow the law concerning both of his wives and the children that came. So God wasn't going to have no partiality from what he construed as righteousness. He couldn't get away from it. So when he made his sons inherit what he had, he could not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, because he prefer her and he gonna treat her better and her kids better. God got an even hand. You do it according to the script regardless. But this just show you Hey, because they asked me about this scripture. Well, see, that it ain't even, God don't like more than one wife. God ain't never had no problem with it according to this right here. He just had some rules that went with it. But go ahead, verse 17.
But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn, by giving him a double portion of all that he hath. For he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his.
See, the firstborn is still the firstborn. Don't matter who you prefer. The firstborn is still the firstborn. But you had this, and you got many instances where men were allowed to have more than one wife. But you didn't have no instance where a woman, because man probably going to pass a law pretty soon. They breaking all these laws. They might make a law where it can be multiple wives, but they going to probably have where your woman can have more than one husband, because the world is crazy. I heard them talking about that. Where if a man could do it, the woman could do it, because they crazy. It never was that way. Because this going to what we getting ready to get into, this is what allow marriages to stay. Everybody got to know their role in the marriage. The husband and the wife got their roles. But now let's go to Isaiah 4 first. Isaiah 4. And this is something in the future, and this is what you should think about, how the Lord look at things. Because you say, well, why did the Lord let men have more than one wife? Because what we talking about, brothers and sisters, it stopped people from fornicating and whoremongering all over the place in the first place. It stopped them from doing it because they still had to stick with the one that they was with. See, you might say, oh, that's crazy, more than one wife. Look, it's not many men in this way, and women too for that matter, but I'm just talking about men. It's not many men in this world who only have been with one woman. So what does that mean? That means you got a bunch of whoremongering that done went on already. He done slept with this woman. He done slept with this woman. Now this woman is with somebody else. It's just a bunch of mess. See, so God at least has some order to it, because there's always been more women. If you notice, there's been more women than men. So God is actually looking out, hey, for the woman that might not have nobody. Like I seen one sister on the internet some time ago. She was saying, she was talking about with more than one wife wasn't so bad because, see, some of y'all sisters, y'all stingy. Y'all ain't thinking about the sisters don't got nobody. She was making a good point. I know the other sisters that got somebody don't want to hear that. They're like, get away from me with that. But that's what she was saying. She was saying, y'all ain't thinking about the sisters don't got nobody. And that's really what the Lord was thinking about. He was covering everybody. But look how it's going to be in the future. Isaiah 1. Like I said, I ain't saying this so, brothers need to run out now, because it ain't even time for that. You can't even handle this now. But this is how the Lord look at it. Isaiah 4:1. This is how it's going to be in the future, and it's going to cut down on a whole bunch of whoremongering and adultery. Because again, an abundance of single women, they not going to stay by themselves. They going to go around and sleep with this woman husband, and then this woman husband, and then this woman husband, and it's going to be a bunch of mess. This is why, think about why the Lord is saying this is going to happen in the future. 4:1. In the future. Go ahead.
And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name.
See, now this not happening now because the Lord haven't killed up practically everybody and scared the dickens out of the people that's left.
That's right.
But once this happened, this is where it's going to be. And notice the women going to be okay with it because they going to know what the law is saying. The Lord going to let it be known, look, you're going to be under one man and you ain't going to be roaming the streets being able to fornicate with different men. And the men going to have to stick with the ones they got. But he said in that day, 7 women will do it. We'll take hold of one man and say, we will eat our own bread. Look, we buy our own stuff. Look, just let me be under your roof, so to speak, because it's going to be the law. And it will Stop all the running back and forth where you sleep with this person today, then a couple of years later you sleeping with this person. That go on all across the landscape.
That's right.
And the Lord don't like that. That's why he said whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge. But now go to Genesis 3.
You want to finish that up? To take away?
Yeah, go ahead. Finish that.
We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach.
See, they're going to have to do that. But now go to Genesis 3. Genesis 3. But see, understands that God do got some order to marriage. And that's what will allow marriages to last. That's what will allow marriages to last. If you understand the order and know that it ain't going to be according to nobody's wishes. But somebody got to be the head. Somebody got to be in control. And that's something that's missing in this world. That's something that's missing. So everybody wanted their own way, and then if it don't go my way, then I'm just going to go get married or do something else. I'll worry about that later. I'm not going to be with you no more. Look, that ain't the way the Lord got it. 3 and 16. Genesis 3 and 16. Go ahead.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
See, now this is the order thing. Since the man and the woman, both of them sinned, the man went along and brought sin into the world. But the punishment on the woman was, which let you know it probably wouldn't have been this way if it wasn't for the sin. He said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and conception. So that's why women have babies. They have them hard. It's a hard way to go. In sorrow shalt thou bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So this is where the Lord is saying that the woman is supposed to be subject unto the man. Now again, in this world, people want to make it equality. But see, that's why marriages don't last, because there can't be no equality. Even in man's world, they know in every organization of business, somebody's at the top. They got presidents, they got vice presidents. But, people want to think we're in a marriage, it's just equal. We on equal footing. It couldn't be no equal footing. See, because if don't nobody have the final say, if nobody is the head, then, yeah, we can fight till we go our separate ways. But if people understand this, then, hey, even if the woman think the man is wrong, hey, the Lord can handle the man. If you trust in God, the Lord can handle the man. And if the man is wrong, God will deal with him. We got examples of that. So, but the bottom line is the order of things is, he said, and he shall rule over thee. Let's make sure that's clear. Go to Ephesians 5. See, that don't mean the man is supposed to mistreat his wife, and if he mistreat his wife, the Lord is going to deal with that. But in every marriage, the man is supposed to have the final say and be the head. But he can't make a woman allow that. But if the woman don't allow that, then the Lord can deal with her for that. Like a brother told me years ago. He said, well, my wife don't let me rule over her. She won't necessarily do what I say, but I sure ain't going to do what she say. He told me that. So nobody can make nobody do nothing, but if you're going to operate according to marriage, obviously you want to be with the person if you went that far with them. So everybody need to do their part, the man and the woman. Ephesians 5. Because I get so many calls from brothers and sisters, they fed up with each other. Oh, I can't stand her. I can't stand her no more. Like I done talked to brothers. Brothers that came and said, look, in private, that's why I ain't going to call their name. Man, I messed up. I slept with so-and-so, but I don't want to be with her. I say, well, you should have thought about that before you slept with her. But I can't see myself being with her. I said, you didn't see that before? You done went all the way that far, and now you can't see yourself being with her. Yeah, you should have saw that a little sooner. So everybody want to duck their responsibility. Ephesians 5:22. Go ahead.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband, as unto the Lord.
See, now look, this in the Bible, this is what he was telling you in Genesis. See, this will, if we didn't got into women's lib, and women don't think that they supposed to be submissive, and probably women in here don't want to hear this now, but we read the Bible, so it don't matter to me. You ain't getting mad at me. So, but we got so caught up on women's lib, and women believe that just because some women are smarter than their husband, they might have more education than their husband. So they believe that give them the right to be the boss, not according to God. Somebody got to have the final say. And the Bible is clear on it. And he tells you, he said, wives, submit yourselves to your own husband as unto the Lord. See, even if you feel, which I find it amazing that women be acting like their husband is the worst person in the world, then I keep reminding them that you married him. Didn't you marry him? Yeah, but see, I didn't know then. Yeah, you know now. So you done went that far. Now, this is your role to play. He said, wives, submit yourself to your own husband as to the Lord. So even if you figure your husband is the worst person, he's no good, look, the Lord can handle him. Just submit to him as unto the Lord. Do it for, in other words, he's saying do it for the Lord's sake. Because the Lord is the one saying it. Just do it because the Lord said do it. And if he out of pocket, the Lord can deal with him. And we're going to get to that. But now everybody got their role. Because some husbands want to say, well, I'm the head. And he is supposed to be the head. But if he not, the old saying is that you got to pay the cost to be the boss. If he not doing that, then he got a problem. But again, that don't get a wife room to say, well, you ain't doing your role, I ain't going to do my role. Look, it's just going to all hit the fan. So go ahead, 23 though.
For the husband is the head of the wife.
Now that's what the Bible say, right? Where's is there equality there? I mean, it ain't like the woman is dumb and stupid. Hey, the woman got to have some wisdom because the Lord gave her wisdom. But in the order of things, the man is the head. Somebody got to have the final say. We'll argue until the cows come home if don't nobody be able to say, nah, well, we're going to do this.
Right.
And once if the husband is determined on something, half the time, brothers and sisters, it don't even matter. It don't even be nothing big. It's just that the wife want it this way and the husband want it this way. It don't be earth-shattering. It don't be like the end of the world. And a lot of times, like I say, you get to arguing, you been to forget what the argument was. And now everybody ready to go their separate ways. You done forgot about the importance of marriage. See, I know about the importance of marriage. That's why me and Loretta been together 32 years. It ain't all been smooth. But I know about sticking to it because the Lord give you that. So look, he said, for the husband is the head of the wife, even what?
Even as Christ is the head of the church. Mm-hmm. And he is the savior of the body.
So now if the woman, if she believe that Christ is really the head of the church, then she have to accept her husband as the head of her. This is the order thing. But if you don't do that, you think you might be getting your husband, but you crossing the Lord. Go ahead, verse 24.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husband in everything.
So now why do you think we got this in the Bible? Because this is what people be fighting and getting divorced over some simple issues that we disagree on. Well, we disagree. I ain't going to never agree with you on that. I ain't going to agree. Well, it don't matter if you agree. Just do what I tell you to do on it. But it's some simple stuff. But why do you think we getting this instruction from the Bible? Because it's going to create a problem if everybody don't recognize their position. It's going to be a problem. So 24 said, therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, that's how the church is supposed to be, subject to Christ. So let the wives be to their own husbands in everything, subject to their own husband. So it ain't I don't see no equality where the wife have just as much say. The wife got say, and the husband, if he's smart, he will listen to his wife when she is right. If he's smart. If he's stupid, then the Lord gonna deal with him. Don't even worry about that. But if he's smart, the Lord gave the woman to help the man. If the man do not utilize the help like he should, then he's stupid. And he gonna pay the price. But the bottom line is the man is the one that have the final say. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject to Christ, so let wives be to their own husbands in everything. That didn't say